Jeff, it's such an honor to have you as always. We've done this a number of times, dude. We've had since like 2012. I feel like we've sat down maybe like once a year for something like this.
Yeah.
But this one's different.
Several iterations and it keeps unfolding.
Yes. This one is different. You have done something that I'm very impressed with. I told you I'm a little more than halfway through the book. I was hoping I'd get it all done, but gosh,
it's all
you know
right.
how hard it is.
It's hard to read books. No one reads books anymore.
To like sit down and then you get distracted. And then anyways, I will finish it, but I'm loving it. It starts in this, the opening of the books kind of sets like this really interesting and beautiful tone for it. Like the title is interesting. It's like the last book written
by a human.
Yeah.
No one reads books anymore unless it's the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the title. Becoming Wise in the Age of AI.
Yeah. The Becoming Wise in the Age of AI thing, which is like, there might be some truth to that. Like, AI can write books for sure.
Yeah,
it can do like a lot of kind of interesting. I don't know if it can write good books.
Yeah.
But it can certainly do a lot of really interesting things. So I opened it and I'm like, I'm expecting like a typical business book.
Yeah.
And it's anything but.
Yeah.
So give us a sense for, let's just start with like why you wanted to write this book.
No, I don't know if I wanted to, Clint. I don't think that's the right phrasing. I never had this on my like bucket list or even like a plan. And it's been such a crucible for me in a good way. I think AI is forcing humanity through a crucible, by the way. And so I don't know if want is the right word. I just felt like I had to. It's interesting, this like negotiation I had with, God, the universe, source, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. But at first it was like, I'm not a writer. No. Like I'm too busy. I first woke up like 8 years ago in the middle of the night, like you're a writer, you got to write. And I'm like, I am not a writer. I was busy running Peak Capital and Peak Ventures. And I was like, no. So it's interesting, the evolution. So first it was like, no, I'm not writing. Then I lost the governor's race into the summer of 2020. So I had space and time for the first time in my adult life. And I've often told my students at BYU, I've taught entrepreneurship since the governor run there as an adjunct, thousands of students. I said, with space and time, anything can be created. And I had space and time for the first time. So then it was like, okay, I'll start writing it. And then as it starts coming out, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not writing this though. Like this isn't what I agreed to write. Then I got over that. And then it was like, okay, I'll write this, but kind of half-ass it, kind of not be totally vulnerable, not be truthful. Have you felt any of that in the first half? Like, I hope you, like, I think it's wide open.
It's beautiful, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah. And so then it was like, okay, I've got to be totally open, honest, vulnerable. I'm just not going to tell anyone about it. That was the next, and these are like 6 to 12 month iterations. I'm not going to tell anyone about it. And it's interesting. This is a true story. So when I was in this phase of like, cool, I'm going to write it, literally print 100 copies and just tell no one. I had this dream, and it will resonate. It will resonate for entrepreneurs and venture capitalists and everyone in the Silicon Slopes community. I was like in my conference room at Peak Ventures. People always come and pitch us. Thousands of entrepreneurs have come to see us through the 12 plus years or whatever. And this entrepreneur came in, I don't know who it was, best idea, best plan, coolest team, best product. And I'm like, damn, I'm investing in this company. This is awesome. And so I'm like, this is great. We'll get back to you, highly interested. And he's like, oh, there's just one thing. We don't want to tell anyone about our company or product. And I was like, what do you mean? I didn't even understand him. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, we're just like, we have the best of everything. And the product market fit, it's great. The market's huge, all the venture jargon. We're just not going to tell anyone about it. And I was like, what do you, like, we got it. And so I wake up and like the meaning of the dream is like instantly, like, that's not how this existence works. That's not how this world works. So I'm like, all right, I got to tell people. So, I'm telling people the book's coming out in 2 weeks, and we're busy promoting it. I'm telling people about it. Yeah. The last kind of message from from God was like, you can't half-ass this, either go in or not, and so we're all in on the message. I think it's the message for our moment. So I'm fully committed to it.
Give me a sense for, obviously you ran for governor during the COVID year, which was crazy. Get through that, lose that race, come out. Finally, for the first time in a long time, like you said, you have this time and space to think and resources, right? Because even when you used to have time and space and, like when you were kids, like who cares? You can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like now you like have, you've have all this experience behind you, have resources, all that type of stuff. You start doing this. Are you surprised by what you wrote?
I am. I'm surprised. I think I view the last book written by a human as my little offering to the divine. Like I view it as art. Mm-hmm. So no matter the kind of artist that you are, that's how I view it. And I think if you fully surrender to experience, to look at it at a broader scale, or to a project, you're often surprised at what comes out. So I was very surprised. This is not theoretically, maybe I'm 48 years old. Maybe I write a book about, I'm halfway through my life. Here are all the things I learned. Like you said, a little bit more of a business book. I've been on probably 50 podcasts in the last month or so. And one of the things that hosts say to me, even those that don't know me as well as we know each other, is like, I was surprised by this book. Like I was not expecting what was in this book. And they're saying that in a good way, which I appreciate. So was I surprised? Yes. Are we going to be surprised at where AI takes us? Yes, I think so. But I think that any time that we're kind of fully surrendered, our ego is maybe dissipating, going away, I think we'll often be surprised at what comes out. So yeah, I was surprised about it. And it scared the hell out of me, to be honest with you. You can appreciate that, having read probably half of it now.
Yeah.
And it continues to. But,
Why? Why do you think it scares you?
Isn't it, like a fundamental human need? Obviously, the two fundamental human needs are to love and be loved. Mm-hmm. I think that anytime we're fully vulnerable, we fear not being loved, not being accepted. You and I both love this community, like with all our hearts. Like we've poured our heart and souls into it. I love the startup community. I mean, I started Peak Ventures 12 years ago because there wasn't enough capital for the amazing entrepreneurs in the state. I ran for governor 5 years ago just for impact and to try to give back. So we love this community, but every community has its flaws. And I think a challenge sometimes in our community is being honest, open, vulnerable. And so this is certainly kind of a trigger for me, something that I've struggled with. And so to write a book that's so open and honest in this form and fashion, I think we're risking acceptance or being loved. And so, yeah, I think that's why it's scary.
I think you're right about that. There is this, I fall in and out of love of the community, as we were talking about before on air. Like I fall in and out of love with kind of what I'm doing. And you mentioned like, there's kind of like seasons to this type of thing. And I know like when I'm out of love with it, it'll come back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just like waiting and still doing it and all that type of stuff. But it is interesting. We do have a number of, I don't know, is the best way, problems, issues, things that the state of Utah and our community in particular could be better at. And I think one that you're talking about is being honest. And another way of saying that is being authentic.
Absolutely.
We don't have a lot of authenticity, and it's really interesting. And maybe we do. And like, this is me being inauthentic, saying, I have no idea. Right. Like, that's kind of like the weird thing, because I'm not like critiquing any one individual or anything when I say that, but it does seem like here's my experience. When I go on LinkedIn, for example, and I'm seeing all the posts of they're all the same. Mm-hmm. And all of them are probably written by ChatGPT and like lightly edited.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering like, what are we doing? Are robots talking to each other? Like, who are we?
Yeah. Well, Clint, you're asking the question, in the age of highly intelligent machines, humans need to become more wise. And you're asking the questions for why I think AI is here now. Who are we really? Is it good to be human or not? What is the beauty in being human? You talked about falling in and out of love. I think on an existential level, we do that as well.
For sure.
And so I think that AI is here to hopefully return us to some of that love, to some of the messiness and beauty that can be found in human connection, in humanity. I think this is the big, like, divine, I would say, or existential purpose of why AI is here. See, when I lost out of the governor's race in the summer of 2020, I'd been away from technology for 18 to 24 months because I'd been running a statewide campaign, preparing for it, running, et cetera. And that's an eternity in tech. So I went to one of my favorite, I grew up in Spokane, Washington, went to one of my favorite places on the earth, which is Coeur d'Alene Lake, Idaho, right across the Washington border.
Beautiful place.
Yeah. And I sat on the lake with my wife and kids, and we regrouped from the public beating that we had just taken. And I dove back into the work that I had missed, the venture work, technology work. Several things were popping in 2020. I won't repeat them the summer of 2020, but the one that stuck out to me was AI. And although I've made, a dozen or more investments now as an investor in AI, what stuck out to me was the existential implications. The questions that, like you just asked, that it's going to cause us to ask. And yeah, so my argument in the book and my belief is that AI is a cosmic mirror to humanity. It's simply a reflection of us, because all it does, at least right now, it takes all of our data, ingests it, doesn't forget any of it, sees interesting patterns, et cetera. And then it takes our behavior day to day, that it's all, our conversations with it, et cetera. So it's real time, and it reflects it back to us. And what we get to do as humans is see this reflection. And I'm talking like collectively as humanity. We can do it individually, but also collectively. We can do it in our community and say, do we like what we see in our reflection? What do we want to change in what is reflected back to us? And I think it's a critical moment right now. Do we want to double and triple down on what I talk about in the book is this old game that we've been playing of kind of division, hate, greed? Or do we want to double and triple down on that with AI in the mix here? Is that good for our kids and our grandkids? Or do we need to pivot here? Like, do we need to change? And my guess is that my bet is for a renaissance in human consciousness here over the next decade and two. And that's kind of what I'm betting on. That's what the book is starting the conversation about. That's what I'm going to spend a lot of my, let's say, the second half of my career on. And I think that AI is the most powerful tool that we have in this transformation right now.
Yeah, it's wild what can happen. And you're right about the reflection too. Like, it made me think as you were saying that, like, when I go on LinkedIn now, I'm kind of like, ugh. But what's reflecting back to me is like, I used to I don't think I've ever put an authentic LinkedIn post. Let's just be honest.
Dude, I'm sure you have.
That's just, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I'm always like promoting something on there, or like come to this event or any of that type of stuff. And like, it's just not my medium, like social media really is not really my medium.
Yeah.
Period. And we know that social media is like bad. Like we're going into this era of like, we might be going into an era that's post social media.
Yeah.
And we know that social media has been really bad for us.
Yeah.
Right. And so we do have this opportunity now to, what should this look like? If we've all just been posting on social media to gain website traffic or notoriety or all that,
sell books.
Yeah, let our AIs duke it out and talk to each other on there. Like, let's talk about like who we really are.
Yeah.
And what do we actually do?
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I talk about, and I think others have spoken about this, but social media was really like baby AI. It was like our first step of a general use technology in AI. And we've seen what the almighty algorithm has done to society, has done to politics, and especially and most poignantly, what it's done to our younger generation and our children. Mm-hmm. We get to either double and triple down into that, or we find something better and different. I mean, this is what humans are built for. Like, we solve problems. I think we're built for real connection. Relationships in the age of AI become a big part of what we need to continue to lean into. When our kids are spending more time with their device than another human being, we might ask ourselves, like, what are our kids going to become? Like, when you have your chat GPT that every morning says, Clint, you look wonderful. You're the most in shape dude I've seen. Oh, you're brilliant. Like, it's like almost, it's like glazing us, you know what I mean? And like, it always takes your side. That's not often the best for maybe human transformation and growth. And it's not an accurate picture. And we got to lean into real relationship here. I think we're hungry for that. You're going to get to the last section of the book, which is about evolution. And I talk about evolving our biggest institutions, our most sensitive institutions. So I talk about education, of course. I talk about conscious capitalism. I talk about reforming religion. I talk about a political movement that I see afoot in the world, in the United States, one that may come to fruition or not, but I call it the human political movement. And it's basically a focus on human flourishing instead of, let's say, the bottom line, or instead of, like you said, our AIs or robots duking it out, or these highly effective and efficient machines. No, let's point our institutions towards human flourishing. Our institutions, at least right now, are made up of humans that can be changed. We can reprogram, deprogram ourselves. We can make progress. And I think that's the global evolution and arc that we're headed towards. And it's kind of where I end the book, actually. You'll get there soon enough, and I'll be curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, that's interesting. Is there anyone on the political landscape today who's talking like this, or is somewhat, because I don't know if you read that book. Ezra Klein and Derek Thompson recently put out a book called Abundance.
I haven't.
And there's this abundance movement. I haven't read it either, but it made this big splash, and even I think Spencer Cox was excited about it even. So it wasn't, it may have been, even more than just, I don't even know what a Republican and Democrat is, to be honest with you. But and they're talking about, hey, we need to let's have an abundance principle. But really, it's just let's have the rich get richer, and let's
I can just
what is this?
I can just stop your question now and give you one more answer, and the answer I'd give you is no. I don't see. I think a new form of leader is being raised up and prepared. In a new form of CEOs. We're all on our own heroic journeys, individually and collectively. Right. What are we really doing here? What is the hero's journey? The hero's journey consists of a hard, refusal of the call, going into we're not going to make it. I think we'll be pushed to that with AI. And then some sort of wisdom comes back to the hero that they then, bring to the tribe, and we all kind of rise together. This is the general hero's journey. I think AI is pushing us on that hero's journey. And my point is, certainly AI is going to give CEOs, religious leaders, and politicians ample opportunity to either opt in to their own heroic journey, which is kind of choosing the betterment of society versus their own particular needs. It's going to provide ample opportunity for that. I can't think of a politician right now that's talking in that regard. I think this kind of talk will begin to burst here in the next several years, or to be birthed, I guess you could say. And I think that those are the type of leaders that I hope, humanity chooses. The leaders that we have are a reflection of us.
Yeah.
And I learned this running for governor, and I believe this. So what does that say about our society and where we're at? I think that
it's an indictment.
It's an indictment. I agree. I'm trying to be kind here, but it's an indictment. So again, we can double and triple down on the way that we're headed. And I just, all thoughtful leaders, all thoughtful humans that listen to this podcast, ask yourself, if we throw on top of our current trajectory this godlike technology that is AI, becoming AGI, et cetera, where does that lead us? And my gut is that does not lead us to the place where we want to go. So some serious reform is in order. I talk about in the book, you read that, climbing my little mountain of success, getting to the top of the mountain. There's nothing there but a cold howling wind is what I say. And there's nowhere external to look anymore. We need to look back into ourselves. We need to do our own, again, collective work and our own personal work by going inward. This is often the work that we avoid because it's scary, it's deep, it can be triggering, but it's the work that I think we're being called to do as we transform. And that work has a lot to do with, we become so addicted to doing. I talk about how I became a human doing, like a drone in the system. And really, we need to come back to our being. We are human beings, not human doings. And so in coming back to our being, I think that we're better equipped to enter this age of highly intelligent machines with as much ease, love, grace, and wisdom as possible.
Yeah. Why don't we just blow up all the AI data centers right now?
Like if that was an option, like that might be our best option.
Like, why isn't that an option?
Well, I think that you would have to have like global agreement for that and trust that was actually happening.
Why don't we treat them like
for that to be an option?
If it's that scary, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we may get to a point where we do treat them like nuclear weapons, but nuclear weapons still exist. AI, we may treat like that down the road. I think, people are fearful. I think we should ask ourselves, like, why do we feel so attracted to and or compelled towards AI, but also scared to death of it? Again, I think it's because it's going to offer this reflection that maybe isn't as pretty as we would like. And then we're forced to remember what the beauty of being a messy human is and to accept those gifts and to lean into them harder. So yeah, like that might be like the best option, but that's not a realistic option because even if I'm making this up, the United States said, okay, everyone stop, let's go. There will be nefarious characters, actors, maybe countries, et cetera, that won't really stop. And then where does that leave us down the line if we stop? So that's not, I mean, that might be the best choice. It's not a realistic choice. And so I think we need to lean in with consciousness to the development of AI. We need to focus it squarely on human flourishing rather than human division or destruction. That's the call of this book. I hope you felt that.
Yeah, I don't get the sense that we're anywhere near like Terminator 2 or those types of things where the AI kind of starts like I don't even get the sense we're that close to AGI. Yeah. I think that's kind of a myth, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no one knows.
I think AI right now is fine. Yeah. And it's actually kind of existed for a long time. And now it's like packaged up into like this really interesting thing. But if it can become conscious, if it can become, all that type of stuff, if AGI can happen, that can do as much good. Like think of all the good that can do. That can do an insane amount of good.
Yeah.
It can do that exact same amount of bad.
Yeah. It depends on the prompts and the direction it's given. Largely, the scariest thing about AI, the different thing about AI than any other tool we've created. And obviously, as long as humans have roamed the earth, we've created tools, tools of, you could say, technology that make life better for more people, which is a beautiful thing. The interesting thing about AI, obviously, is its agentic nature, its ability or its seeming, I'll say, desire to become an agent unto itself. And so and I believe that agentic nature will blossom more and more. The smarter it gets, the more experienced it gets, the longer we go, I think that agency becomes appealing and apparent. So let's raise it up in the right way. Like, again, this book was written to be a conversation starter that possibly leads to a movement around, again, the biggest questions of our existence and how AI can help us become more instead of becoming less. I believe that like the division amongst humans, I'm speaking generally, is largely an illusion. Now, it's an illusion that's fed by big corporate interests or political parties that have an incentive, or media agencies, or that have an incentive to divide us, that kind of go to the lowest common base denominator of humanity. I think it's incumbent upon more and more of us to recognize that and to feel into what I believe is a deeper truth, which is our divine like unity, our inherent connection as humans, not our differences. Our differences exist. They create diversity that is beautiful and makes this whole experience fun and awesome, but it's not the actual root of existence. I think the root is closer to a unity that I think we will be called back to and called to lean into even further here in the decades to come. I think it will be necessary in order to survive AI, and or at least to point AI towards good objectives, especially as it continues to quote unquote wake up, become more agentic, and we want it to work to understand the human condition, to have as much as it can, to have empathy for it, and to help us make humans better and make our existence better. And it can do that in healthcare, education, so many areas, if we allow it to.
What do you think? It might help us. Like, there are some things like you can't like really talk about still, which is really interesting.
Like what?
Right. Well, I'll give you an example. Like, I don't even know how I would get fired. I assume I could, but I have no idea how it would happen. Like, I'm pretty like safe in like this role or whatever.
Yeah.
And all of our voices matter. And so you put something out there right now. I don't know that I would publish my thoughts on Israel, Gaza.
Yeah. I get what you're saying
right now.
Yeah. So what, what's your
Israel,
question?
Palestine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so at what point are people going to start feeling free and as though they're not going to face a consequence for putting their voice out there?
Yeah, I think we feel free.
By the way, maybe I would. I don't know. But I
get what you're saying.
I can tell you right now, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like my thoughts. I don't know what I'm talking
I just thought about it. No, I wouldn't.
I'm like, I wouldn't. I wouldn't,
yeah.
right? Because first of all, who cares? He's Silicon Slopes guy and doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But then it would matter, and then it would matter for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I think that what we're all looking for is already inside of us. And I know that that sounds maybe trite, but I found, and I've often told my students, the most powerful ideas are often the most simple and therefore the most neglected. So my point is, when does humanity be more truthful, like look into the reflection and see what's really there and be honest and be ready to deal with those issues? I think as soon as we've gone inside of ourselves, done more of the work of understanding who we really are, what reality really is, and we come back as a more healed human or humanity, and we're able to rest on that internal knowledge rather than an external source. So all of us are used to looking externally. It's in the air we breathe, man. I mean, we grew up in a very high demand culture, religion, country, a capitalistic system, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is the air we have breathed. And there's a lot of good and beauty in that. But there's also a shadow side to that I think is ours to grapple with and to shed and to heal. And so I think that that confidence, that belief, I'll say, can only come from inside each individual. That's what I'll say. That's been my lived experience in writing this book. I know there'll be a lot of people that love this book. I also know there are going to be a lot of people that don't love this book, and they'll let me know. And the only way that I continue forward in what I believe is truth and in what I believe is serving humanity, trying to make an impact, it only can come from inside of me. It almost, Clint, I poured my heart and soul into this book. I hope you can feel that in the pages. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece. I am saying it's the best I could do right now. And I put my whole heart and soul into it. My point of that is my work is almost done. Like what you think of it is kind of none of my business. What anyone thinks of it as they read it. I've started to get a bunch of reviews in on the book, which I've been really grateful, or like super positive and awesome, but it isn't even really my business. My business was putting my heart and soul onto the page and then letting the outcome be what it may. So my point of that is, I think that's the process for all of us. Whatever work we're doing, whatever art we're creating, whatever business we're building, whatever voice that you want to share, you be your authentic, true self, bring your heart and soul and love to the message. And then it kind of like, it doesn't matter, like the reaction, that's not me. Like that says more about you than it does about me. And it's really none of my business. In a way. Does that make sense? I don't know. These are kind of deep thoughts that we're riffing on, which is fun, but yeah.
Give me a sense for your journey since the governor's race. Like what's your personal journey been like?
It's been beautiful and hard. That was a public defeat. It was fine. Well, I'll tell you what was the most hard for me. And I think we've spoken about this before. It was the pandemic that it's kind of like we started the fourth quarter. Of course, John and Spencer are ahead. They're the front runners. But, myself and maybe a couple other candidates were in the mix for sure. And it's kind of like the ref came out and said, game over. Like, so it never got to really end. As soon as there was that much disruption that came into the system, only John or Spencer could win that race. And maybe that was always the case, but there wasn't even a chance to play the fourth quarter. So that was painful. And even more, just as painful, I had a team of 100 full-time and volunteer staff. Like we had bled together for a year. I wasn't even able to get together with them in person to like wrap my arms around them and to tell them thanks and to reminisce on the good times and the hard times because of COVID. Like I was on a Zoom call with this team that I loved and had laid it on the line for me, and we weren't able to get together. So that was the pain that I like entered the summer of 2020 with. And it was, as I look back now, Clint, because it was so interesting. We spoke about this in your office just privately a couple of times while I was considering running for governor. Like I didn't know why I felt so compelled to do it. I was kind of at the top of my game. Things were humming in business. It was fantastic. Not everything was perfect, but it was really good. And like, why step into the wasteland that is politics? I was 42 years old. Like, why was I? And I didn't have a political background. I'm not a politician. I was running against two really well-known political candidates. Spencer was already in the race. John was rumored to be coming in. Like, why do that? Here's what I realize now with hindsight. And I love the Steve Jobs quote about how the dots only connect looking back. Like you can see how the dots connect. What I connected a year or so after losing the race was like my subconscious was taking me off my little stage. I was running a multi-billion-dollar private equity firm, investing $100 million or so in venture capital. I was on like 20 boards. You know this story for yourself, nonprofit and for-profit. I was a father of 4 children, married. I was put too much on my plate. But running for governor was a big enough thing that I was able to like shed that work stuff or a lot of it. And I was being this lost, took my ego off the stage in a way that has allowed me to reconsider a lot of things and create this piece of art, this book, and more that I'm sure to come, that I would have never been able to do if I was on that path. So looking back, it was clear to me that like my subconscious was doing me a favor by kind of luring me into this race that I probably couldn't have won, although I didn't believe that then, and I gave my whole heart and soul to. And then I had space and time to create hopefully something even more beautiful. So that's how I look at it now. I didn't realize that as it was happening, but that's what I think was happening. And the reason I share that story and the reason I write this book and what I hope for people who read it, I want you to see your story in the book and in me. in my story. In some parts, like all be different, but I hope that it resonates. I hope it's resonated with you, that you've seen some of yourself in my reflections, some of yourself in my story. That's where the power is. It's not about me. It's not about my story. Who cares? What you care about is this interesting existential experience that we're having together, this heroic journey that we're all on together, and how we can learn from and help each other, how we see ourselves in other people's story. I mean, I think that's what's powerful. That's what's moving. That's what art is. It's remembering, it's reminding us of things that we know like deep in our soul, but that we haven't confronted or fully like accepted. That's what beautiful art does, in my opinion.
It feels like the beginning of something for you, this book.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like now that it's out there, and you've launched a Substack that people should check out.
Yeah.
And you're doing, like you said, a lot of press and a lot of, various things to promote the book. What is next?
Yeah. Good question.
You thought about that?
The truth is, like, I don't know. I mean, sincerely. And of course, I've thought about it some. I think that the future is a fiction. What I mean by that is it only exists in our minds. Like, we got stuff to do this afternoon that we're going to jump to after this. We've got plans this weekend, whatever. But that's all in our mind. Like, we only get to the future, and the future only becomes real in the present moment. And I believe that this is the life of the universe, quote unquote, the life of God is a never ending series of like present moments. So I haven't made too many plans. I don't know where this will lead. I'm trying to live in what I would call non-resistance to the flow of where this is going to take me. And I don't know where that is. I'm sure there's going to be some pain along the way. I hope there's also a lot of bliss and joy, and I'm sure there will be. So yeah, I don't have a plan. I don't know exactly where. My whole heart and soul right now is into being present in the moments, kind of talking about the book, having conversations with friends like this, and getting the message out there. I feel compelled to get the message out there. Again, I think the message of our moment is that as our machines become more and more and more intelligent, we as humans must become more wise, or the outcomes, I'm not sure, will be great for humanity. So yeah, that's an honest answer, Clint.
Are there any similarities between launching a book and launching a startup?
Yeah, there are. Both launching a startup, launching a gubernatorial run, and launching a book, there are some similarities. They're all different. One of the hardest things is they all have like different networks. Mm-hmm. So I've now met, one of the things I indexed on or didn't appreciate how hard it would be like, I had a strong network and loved people in the startup community here in Utah. The political community and like the workforce is very different. Like, I didn't know, I knew our politicians, of course, like you do, but I didn't know the working class that like helps raise up these politicians and does all the things. That was a whole new network for me. The point is now with a book, same thing. Like, I've been to New York several times. I have a social media company out there that's helping me. This book is being distributed by Simon & Schuster, one of the largest publishers in the world. These are all like people and groups and that I did not know. So I think that's a common theme, is like, I think that the best teams most often win. And so it's surrounding yourself with the best team you can and good people in every arena. The hard thing is every arena is kind of different, right? I think that product market fit is absolutely the bedrock of every startup. So if you're a startup founder, you quote unquote, like, product market fit is all that matters. And when you have it, you pour on the gas, you scale, you do all the leadership things, et cetera. But when you don't have it, you don't have it. And I think that was pretty evident from the governor run. There wasn't product market fit in 2020 for me and Utah in the governor run. I was a non-politician with a lesser name idea in a very chaotic and disruptive time. And that there was not product market fit there. I lost. Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think you'll run for anything again?
I hope not. I really hope not. I really do. That's just, I think you feel that. Like, I hope not. I don't plan to. Politics is hard. It's ugly. It's mainly about your family. Like, if Sally my soulmate Sal. I have 4 kids. I'm a grandpa now. I have a 1-year-old grandson. Like, I hope not. But I will also say, if you could look back at my career, maybe anything that you could mark on is that I'll probably follow my heart and do what I think I should, kind of unafraid to like step out and do what I should. So the point is, if I felt like down the line, if I felt like I should run again, I assume I would. But I don't have any inklings of that now. And I sure hope that's not like where this leading me. I hope to write more books. I really enjoyed this artistic process. It was very gut-wrenching and hard, but it was beautiful too. And so I hope to write more books. I hope to have more conversations like this. But yeah, I'll just say that I'm open and surrendered to like whatever comes. And yeah, I think that's a good place to like live from.
Well, we have you on stage, I believe, and this will come out before, so everybody should come and ask Jeff whatever questions you have. We'll put like when that is and link to the event and all that type of stuff in the show notes. So we'll continue this conversation very shortly in person at the Silicon Slopes headquarters, which everybody's invited to come to. And get their book signed, man.
Yeah, that's right. Get your book signed. Yeah.
So what do you do now? Do you go on a tour?
Yeah. Like, so the book's available anywhere you can buy it. I've pre-sold a lot of copies, which I'm really grateful for. You can buy it on Amazon, Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, wherever you like it. It launches in 2 weeks. I think the best place to follow me is just my website at Jeff Burningham. And then, yeah, I'm pretty much on every social. I don't love social media either, Clint. I have very mixed feelings about it.
Well, you have to be. My
publisher, has pushed me on it. Like, I've got to do it. And so, I launched a Substack, I think a week ago, TikTok, channel or whatever it's called. And so pretty much anywhere can be found at Jeff Burningham. Yeah, I have a lot of events. I'll be on probably 100 podcasts within 50 days or so here during the launch, I'd say. I'm probably have 10 events, both locally for kind of like the Silicon Slopes conversation, but some of the CEOs I know well. So I'll do a bunch of events. Some of those I'll travel around to. So yeah, there's a big kind of launch effort around the launch of the book, and I'll be busy. I'm busy. I'm busy sharing the message. I'm busy having fun. Like, dude, that's the other thing we got to remember. This is all meant to be fun. Like, this is meant to be an experience. Yeah. Life is not easy for anyone. It's painful and hard. We've got to have fun along the way. And these kind of conversations with friends like you are fun for me. And I'll continue this conversation, I'm sure, for the next year or more, Have
you already started your second book?
I have. It's kind of hard once you open maybe when the muse arrives, let's say, it's kind of hard to shut that down sometimes. So yeah, I have an outline for the next book. I think I will dive into that. I really want to give I need to focus on this. That's what's interesting is I'm releasing this book. It's new to everyone else. It's kind of old news to me.
It's like a startup.
Yeah. Like I put my heart and soul in and done writing it, 6 months or so ago. It's almost kind of old, but it's new now. Again, I think the message is meeting the moment in a beautiful and interesting way. But yeah, I've moved on some already to the second book, and I assume sometime in 2026, so next year, to get quiet again, go inside, get still, and to see what comes out, which is scary. We'll see what comes out this time, but I have some thoughts and ideas, already on.
By the way, congrats on Simon & Schuster. That's incredible.
Yeah. It was, all of this has come together. Mr. Brainwash, I don't know if you know him. He's a well-known modern artist. One of my favorite artists in the world. Dude, he did the cover. We've been trying to connect for years. I connected with him 6 months ago down in Beverly Hills. He has a museum there. Serendipitously, within a month of when my cover needed to start, we hit it right off as these weird existential thinkers. And he asked me within 5 minutes of meeting him, he's like, "What are you working on now?" And I'm like, "I'm working on this weird book about humanity and AI." And he pauses for a second. He's like, "I'm doing your book cover." And I was like, dude, I would be honored. That would be awesome.
Like,
but like,
yeah.
I don't expect it to, like, wow, yes, thanks. So anyways, I'm proud of the book cover. Like, it's a beautiful piece of art. It's very symbolic. It's modern in its tone. And so anyways, that's how I think when we live in flow, things like that happen. We always have bad days. We always have trauma, triggers, pain that surfaces. We need to feel that, let it go, try to follow the flow. And I think, good things happen. And that certainly has been the trajectory of this project and book, probably more than anything I've done I felt that. Maybe other than getting married, falling in love, other than that experience, I think I felt that more here now than ever. So that's been fun. It's been interesting.
Awesome. I'm proud of you, man. Love you, brother. I've always looked up to you, and congratulations on this. This is a big deal.
Thanks, Clint. I really appreciate you taking an interest. I hope you love the book as you finish it.
I'm loving it,
dude. And
I love the opening.
I love all the stuff you've done.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Very cool.
Love being with you.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.